If you look up at the night sky in a clear, pollution-free environment, you can see the Milky Way made up of countless stars. We often think that there are a lot of stars when we look at the night sky. But there aren't as many as 5,000 stars that can be observed by the human eye. In a city where the lights are shining, the number of stars you can see is reduced to 100. But compared to the actual number of stars, the number of stars we see is ridiculously low. Australian astronomers have observed that the number of stars in the universe is about 70 times. 1,000 times the 7th power. If I were to express it in numbers, it's a huge number with 22 zeros after 7. That's more than the total amount of desert and beach sand on Earth combined. If the size of the universe we can observe is only a fraction of the entire universe, how many stars are there in the universe? The universe that fills the night sky seems to be filled with stars. But there's a very special space in the universe. There's an empty space. Dark nebulae are interstellar materials that look darker than their surroundings in visible light, because they absorb and scatter incident light due to their very high density. Dark nebulae cannot emit visible light due to their low temperature, but they can emit infrared and radio waves. The brighter the background, such as in emission nebulae or star-studded areas, the more prominent the dark nebulae are. Representative dark nebulae include Horsehead Nebulae located in Orion or Barnard 68, and Snake Nebulae located in Titancunja. The Horsehead Nebula appears dark against the backdrop of the emitting nebula IC 434, while Barnard 68 and Snake Nebula appear dark against the backdrop of countless stars in the Milky Way. Do you know about the Shepherds? To explain about the Mokdongja cavity, also known as the Great Gong, first of all, we will learn about the cavity, also known as the void. A cavity is a vast empty space between galaxies for unknown reasons. Astronomers still don't know why these spaces were created. The Shepherd's Joint is located about 700 million light-years away from Shepherds. The Great Emblem was discovered in 1981 by an American astronomer named Robert Kircher. One of them is the space where there are very few celestial bodies called the Hertzmann cavity or the archipelago. If you look up at the night sky, there are countless stars spread out evenly. But this area, called the Shepherds, has very few celestial bodies, unlike the general area. The universe is made up of galaxies, a collection of stars, and filaments, a collection of galaxies. This space accounts for 0.27% of the universe that we can observe. It may feel small, just 0.27%, but you have to run 330 million years at the speed of light, without a break to get here from end to end. After all, it's never a small space. These macroscopic cavities were sufficient to stimulate the curiosity of many astronomers, because they did not know why they were created or why they were created. The average distance between galaxies that we've discovered so far is about 10 million light-years. Nevertheless, only about 60 galaxies have been found in this great void, where about 10,000 galaxies will exist. And there's a vast void in this space. These empty areas are simply areas free of matter. So in order to fully understand the universe, we need to find out about the deep abyss in the universe. There are some of these large hollow areas in the universe, and the largest hollow area is the Shepherds that I described earlier. The Shepherds are the largest empty space ever observed in outer space. On average, galaxies have a distance of about 10 million light-years, which is about 4 times the distance between the nearest Andromeda galaxy and the Earth, which is about 250 light-years. There's a huge difference compared to the Virgo cluster near our galaxy. There are more than 2,000 galaxies in the Virgo cluster, within 110 million light-years. The astronomer Greg Alderling said about this empty area, "If our galaxy was located in the co-center of Shepherds, we wouldn't have known that there were other galaxies until the 1960s. If that's the case, there are about 20 galaxies in the vicinity of our galaxy, within a 3 million light-years away. So, based on the average distance of galaxies, millions of light-years, we need to find about 10,000 galaxies in this Shepherd's cavity to be normal. But there are only about 60 galaxies that have been found in this enormous space called the Shepherds. So if there's life in these 60 galaxies in this huge space, it's probably the loneliest life in the universe. The Space Telescope took a picture of a spiral cloud named MCG, plus the 2nd of January 15 in the galaxy located in this Shepherd's cavity. And NASA called it the loneliest galaxy in the universe. This observation shows that our galaxy's stars are photographed together. So it doesn't seem empty, but it's actually empty space around it. How do these empty spaces form? Computer simulations have shown that these empty regions of the universe, in general, are caused by galaxies being attracted and brought closer by each other's gravity. Because when galaxies are attracted to each other by gravity in outer space, the place where they existed becomes empty space. But there was a fact that this hermit was simply not possible. Because of the gravity of galaxies. It's because from the very beginning of the universe, simply the gravitational pull of galaxies could not create an empty area of this size. As I said before, there are about 60 galaxies that have been discovered here. And it's impossible to create such a large empty space with just 60 galaxies. The universe is a collection of galaxies, clusters of galaxies, and so forth, and consists of a long filamentous structure. Simply put, a sponge could be a good example. The universe is a collection of long, filamentous structures that look like sponges, just like this picture. Space, a collection of long filaments, is expanding at a tremendous rate, as we know it. So just as the universe expands, the distance between stars and galaxies grows. So does this empty space, like the pupil of Shepherds, grow bigger and bigger. Eventually, in an expanding, empty space, some of the galaxies in the cephalopod will merge. And the rest of the galaxies will become increasingly distant, and eventually become the loneliest beings in the universe with no other stars or galaxies around them. But the Shepherds decided that it was impossible to create in this way. It's so far away from us that we can't go there and study or investigate it ourselves. But if we find out the secrets of the great emptiness, we think we can solve the mysteries of another universe through the power that created that space. The more you know about the universe, the more mysterious it is. I can't understand it with our brains with modern technology. It's amazing how that single point became an enormous universe, an incredible number of stars, and a variety of materials. If there's life in the universe, if there's observation technology, everyone's looking at it and wondering. If there's life there, it's less lonely in terms of getting everyone's attention.